and homicides and the people that they've killed, put that in music and broadcast that to the masses and not say that that's not detrimental to our community. If that is something that we want to represent us, then we'll continue. But I really think we can do better. And I hope that there are artists that are going to be able to move up from the mainstream and be able to do better.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Reality Check on WURD Progressive Black Talk Media. The job search can be a difficult and frustrating process. WURD's Livelihood Initiative was designed to help you find the right opportunity for your next professional move. Check out the recent openings posted on the Livelihood job board at wordworks.com. The Wagner Institute of Science is hiring a science outreach educator. The Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia is hiring both a director of finance and operations and an executive director. For more information on these jobs and others, go to wordworks.com and learn more about the Livelihood Initiative, brought to you by WURD Radio, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Like many parents, we've had to talk with our son. I'm Sherelle Parker. As mayor and the mother of a Black boy, I'll hold bad cops accountable, but I refuse to allow crime and violence to take over our city. I'll hire more community police to walk our neighborhoods, expand mental health care, invest in mentoring at-risk teens, and get illegal guns off our streets. Parents should know that their kids are safe at the playground or walking to school. As mayor, I'm determined to put a stop to gun violence. We'll save a generation of Philly kids. I'm Sherelle Parker, running for Langston and you. We'll bring hope back to Philly.
On November 7th, vote for Sherelle Parker for mayor and every single Democrat on the ballot for a safer Philadelphia. Paid for by Sherelle Parker for mayor. Authorized by Sherelle Parker.
Words of empowerment.
Thea Warren Moore. I'm a fourth generation editor and publisher of Positive Black News. The Black press is the voice of Black America. It's so important for us to have our own voices spoken from our own perspective and our own narratives. So that's really important for us to be able to have our own messages. I support WURD, the 20th anniversary. Absolutely. I think it takes a village. I think that's the biggest and best thing that I learned from our community, because it takes a community. And that's also for individuals, businesses, everything that you do. It takes a village. No one can do anything alone but God.
This is Words of Joy and Empowerment on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Audio provided by Love Now Media. These Words of Joy and Empowerment are brought to you by Keystone First and United Healthcare. Celebrating 20 years of Progressive Black Talk Media. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on WURD Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that? What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. Good evening to you all. As you know by now, today is Tuesday, October 31st, the last day of October. Happy Halloween to you. Happy Halloween. I hope you are enjoying your week thus far. And as always, we're happy that you've chosen to spend some time with us. And I'm referring, of course, to my illustrious producer, Nick Steptoe. We're always happy to have you join us. To my fellow Scorpios, happy birthday to you. I am extending my utmost gratitude to every single spirit and soul that extended birthday love to me and born day wishes. And I mean, just for the overall outpouring of affection and love. I am truly and deeply touched, more than I can even express. I mean, you just showered me with love. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much. It just felt so good. And I know you want to know all about it. I know you do. I know you want to know all about it. And you know I'm going to share. So before because I do have some photos I want to show you. But before I get into that, I want to let you know that typically when it's birthday time for me, I send out the text, okay, we're going to celebrate. I want to do this, 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 or whatever, you know. And my family and friends will either, they'll say yay or nay. So I've been talking about doing this corn maze for I don't know how long now. I know some of y'all clowned me last week about the corn maze. You clowned me. Yes, you did. But guess what? I went. Okay, I went to the farm, spent the entire day at the farm. Okay, entire day. So I'm going to start by showing you when I walked to the farm. I'm going to do this really quickly. When I walked up to the farm, this is what I saw. I saw the goats on the table. I said, "Oh, they look so cute," because I thought they weren't real. But y'all know I love all the animals, right? So when the little babies turned around and looked at me because I was just so happy, I think they could feel my energy. I said, "Oh, I gotta feed them. I gotta pet them. I gotta pet them." Now they let me feed the babies. They let me feed the goats because you weren't supposed to feed them. But they said because it's your birthday and you look so excited. I was a big kid. Okay, as y'all know I am. So I fed the goats, and then they had this big chair. Look at me. Y'all see me? I know. Go ahead and talk about me. I don't care. It's all right because I had a ball. Okay. Okay. So then I did the hayride because I told you I was going to do that too, and I took some photos while I was going on the hayride. So that's my photo, and that's another one of my photos there. And this right here is a sunflower patch. I got a whole lesson, a whole education on sunflowers yesterday. And because I was, of course, again, so excited to be there, I was given one of the larger sunflowers. You see, I had to pose with it. So that's one of the larger sunflowers there. So I was so excited, y'all. And lastly, I'm going to share with you the dessert I had for my birthday. Now, I know this looks like dirt and what have you. No, let me tell you something. This right here is magnificence. It's a dessert and everything there. It's called a chocolate terrarium. And so it was mousse, chocolate mousse. It was chocolate ganache. It was amazing. That's what it was. Now, I didn't take pictures of the daggone corn maze. I did have a video to show you, but I don't want to show y'all. I'm embarrassed because my family acted a whole fool. Okay. They acted a whole fool. Yes, they did. They were screaming and whatnot because you just can't take people. You can't take my family everywhere. But we're walking through the maze and they were screaming, "Oh no, no, no!" But we got out, and we had a ball. We had a ball. So that's my recap. I had a wonderful time, an amazing day, and I'm so grateful to God to be here to share with you about all the fun that I had. So, family, if you are on our socials, let us know that you are out there. I want to know. I do. And you can do so by sharing a comment, and I will do my best to read it on the air. And you can also call us. You can do that by dialing 215-634 8065. You can even call us toll free at 1-866 361-0900 if you'd like to share some love verbally. You know, Nick and I, we're always happy to have you join us, and we so appreciate the love you share any way that it is shared. I do want to say this for you. Any of our family members whose hearts are heavy today, just know that I am sending you extra love and hugs. As always, I'm talking to you. To you. I'm sending you extra love and hugs on behalf of your tribe and your village, just to let you know that you are not alone. You are not alone. In addition, I'm sending extra prayers of comfort to the Dixon family for the loss of our dearly beloved Azel Dixon, who gained his wings over the weekend. May God continue to bless, keep, and cover you. I do want to acknowledge some of our family members who are checking in. Raphael, hey there, brother Raphael. Are you saying hey? Hi. So happy to have you join us. Malcolm is letting us know that he is listening and watching from West Mount Airy. As always, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Malcolm, for the happy belated birthday. Woohoo! Thank you. And Heather, happy belated birthday to you, Heather. Heather's birthday is the day before mine. She always shares I'm one day older than you. Happy birthday, baby. Happy birthday. That's my beloved, one of my boops. But yeah, we've got a lot for you today. Before I introduce you to our amazing first guest, I need to share some information with you. Family, WURD Radio is sharing a harvest for the world. Now through December 31st, visit wordradio.com to find information on upcoming give back events in the Philadelphia area. If your organization is hosting free clothing giveaways, food drives, free workshops, community dinners, and more, please share the details using the form on our website. Visit wordradio.com/the harvest and look for the harvest banner. It is harvest time, and we're sharing information on those giving back to the community. The harvest is brought to you by Comcast, Pico, Keystone First, and the United Way. We're WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I also want to remind everyone that we need support from our community. That is you. Our Forward and Up campaign has an unprecedented goal for WURD Radio to recruit 2,000 members for the Forward movement. I believe in WURD, and you know I do. And because you are listening, I happen to believe that you do too. If you are not already a member of the Forward movement, now is the time. Go to wordradio.com and click membership right there at the top of the page. Help us to reach our goal of 2,000 members in our 20th year of Black Talk Media. Before we move forward, I want to check in on our phone lines. One of our family members is calling to join the conversation. Hello, and thank you for calling.
Hello, Cal.
Hey, Ron.
Yes, I'm glad that God brought you joy and you was able to do what you did for your birthday. And thank God for your birthday and everyone that have life, have had life, and given back. But they talked about you on Saturday. Listen to this real quick. Saturday we attended the thing for Mr. Floyd. A lot of elders was there, Wilson Good, Dwight Evans, Jamie Blackwell, etc., etc. So the people that knew your dad came up through that with Mr. Floyd before Benny Swine and them crisis interventions from Fanceville. So they came in under that program. And I do remember with Mr. Brown at R.W. Brown Boys Club, they had a lot to do with that. So I'm out there running my mouth. So I'm speaking to Dwight and them and talk about down through the years and Jenny Blackwell and all them set up. So the group that came in from Fanceville, some lady said, "Hey, that's that guy Ryan be on Cal show." So when she said that, I said, "Cal, what? What, Cal?" Listen, so anyhow, so the lady said, she said, "All you got to do is mention Cal days, he go home," right? Somebody said, "Well, Ryan, you were told about one thing. That's what I told him, Cal. I said, I got happy, right? But listen, but Cal, with your elders, I just want to say to everyone, all them people that came out of all age brackets, was all them people like that, the elders. The hostess that had that, which is his daughter and stuff up there, how they treated us older, elders there, they was bringing us cheese. Isn't a wonderful thing to gather in a proximity and where we just not only acknowledge Mr. Floyd, but we was able to do that. And Karen, I know y'all have did, the station have did on the breast cancer and the greenhouse that comes on Saturday, Cal. The Corporation for the Aging have got some more money and stuff. They're going to, the man that runs that program on Saturday, they're going to be doing more things. I want to thank WRD for that man there. I forget the man's name. And they got money where they're going to be doing more things to help the Philadelphia Corporation. I'll be doing my therapy now because my legs is real bad. But that's all right. And make up for it, Karen. Another deal, I close with this. I'm looking at television, when was it? Yesterday. Miss Patty the Bell came on. And when she came on, that ring she had on her finger, she had this ring on, was a butterfly ring.
But yes.
Yes. I thought about that, Cal, and I remember when they did me on the Now with the butterflies around me. And I took and made this thing up. Then nobody write no that and that. And I made this up through the years. I do it at funerals. I do it everywhere I go. And I was saying, I would like Cal to say to Miss Patty LaBelle about that butterfly. Is that many stories? And when they did that, I told the people this, that the butterfly is stronger than a lion. Well, how can an insect that goes into that cocoon, goes through the metamorphosis, how is it come out to be this butterfly that is so fragile? How is that stronger than a lion? The reason I say that the butterfly is stronger than a lion, it's a symbol of serenity and humbleness in life. It takes a lot of strength to be humble. And I saw that, I said, wow, what a beautiful, for her to have that, out of all of the images. But the butterfly goes back with all you musicians like Miss Patty LaBelle, sing that song. And I got them when somebody had sent me something in the book. I didn't know that lady sung that song. I think her name was Mr. Shane. Don't you let them do that to you. I think she did something like that.
Okay.
And I played that all night long. So I want to say to everyone, like Cal and all y'all, continue to give. And because there are some things we have control over, and like voting, we can certainly make a difference with that. But let us continue to be kind in these programs on this station. Ladies and gentlemen, please, they say they want more members. Let us get more members, because what we're going to get back is immeasurable. The Bible talks about love will perish. We know we're going to perish, but continue to love. And I'm glad that they made your day, that day, was pleasing you. Happiness is a different thing, Cal, altogether. You and many people like you and all your sir and all the rest of y'all, you have to make yourself happy. And my what I think happiness is, if you do something for someone else with no strings attached, it really makes you happy. That word, use that word, happy. It's a wonderful thing. Blessed are you givers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you so much. So much. Always for your love, your positivity, for your pouring, just for your encouragement, all of that good stuff. I mean, it is immeasurable. I really hope that you know that. Family, I do want to share with you some more family members are checking in. Tony Brown. Hey there, Tony. Good to see you. Good to have you join us as well. Hey, Brother Nasir, he's joining us as well. And thank you for the birthday love and the birthday wishes. I so appreciate it. Listen, it's time for us to take just a short break, but when we come back, I'm going to introduce. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to introduce you to our amazing first guest tonight, Professor Juliet Hooker. I cannot wait for you to meet her and for us to have this conversation. Again, family, the phone lines are open. As you well know, you can call us at 215-634-8065, or you can call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900, or you can continue to comment on our socials. But whatever you do, stay with us, okay? Because we will be right back.
This is Andrea Lawful Sanders, host of The Source, Monday through Fridays from 5 to 7 a.m. It is my absolute joy to invite you to join us for WURD's 20th anniversary celebration on November 10th, starting at 6 p.m. at the Fitner Club. You can find the tickets at wordradio.com/20th anniversary. I'll be there. I need you to join me. We will have live entertainment and dancing and talking about all the conversations around surviving and thriving for 20 plus years. You all know that is not an easy feat in Black talk media, correct? And we're also going to talk about what the achievements are and the reasons why we have to celebrate. We could not have gotten to this point without all of you. And so we're asking you to join us November 10th, 6 p.m., Fitner Club. Tickets can be found on wordradio.com/20th anniversary. Mr. and I will see you there.
Halloween is sneaking up, so get ready to freak out on fun. This year, the Pennsylvania Lottery has a Halloween treat for you. It's the new $5 Make Me Witch Scratch-Off with top prizes of $100,000. The Make Me Witch Scratch-Off features a moon multiplier, giving you the chance to multiply any prize. Grab the new scratch-off today. It's here for a limited time only. The Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Please play responsibly.
It's a celebration, celebration, celebration.
WURD Radio is celebrating 20 years, and you're invited to join us for an evening of Black excellence and elegance. Friday, November 10th at the beautiful Fitner Club in downtown Philadelphia at 6 p.m. A cocktail reception gets us started with music by Jack Drummond and Tahita Smith from Stroke Strings. Hang out with your favorite WURD hosts, and in recognition of this milestone birthday, we're bringing together the owners of the nation's remaining Black talk radio stations, exploring the future of independent Black-owned media, including WURD's Sarah Lomax, Melody Span Cooper of WVON Chicago, Tavis Smiley of KBLA Los Angeles, and just added Reverend Al Sharpton. DJ Gary O will be spinning your favorites from old school till today. For WURD members, you get a special discounted price. Visit wordradio.com/20th anniversary for tickets and more information. Our 20th anniversary celebration is brought to you by Comcast, Bank of America, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, the Lenfest Institute, and the United Way.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time. This is your celebration.
Hey, everybody, it's Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis. I just wanted to come by and congratulate WURD on 20 years of Black excellence, Black joy, educating our community on the top issues and what they need to know. Cheers to 20 years, and I'm looking forward to 20 more.
We're celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD with yours truly, Carol Riddick. We're just excited. When I say it too, I know you are, because I'm probably transferring this energy. But family, let's get started. I want to introduce you to our first guest this evening. She is the author of the book titled Black Grief, White Grievance, The Politics of Loss, a book that details how Black grief and white grievance feed into the political construct of America. Family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Professor Juliet Hooker. Hello there, hello there, hello there.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Oh, we lost your video. Did I see you? I thought I saw you a moment ago. Do we have visual?
Let me see.
There you are. There she is. Hi there. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure. It is truly a pleasure. We're happy to have you here. We had so much to cover because I'm just coming back off of my little birthday celebration. So I want to jump into this conversation that we're about to have. First, can you tell our family members from where you come a little bit about you?
Sure. So I am originally from the Caribbean coast of Nicaragua, which is the part of the country where you have a lot of Black folks and indigenous peoples, and it was a British protectorate. So it's very much like the Jamaica, those Caribbean islands. And I moved to the U.S. I lived more than half my life in the U.S. now, and have lived in the Northeast and Texas, and currently I'm a professor at Brown University in Rhode Island.
Interesting. Wow, that makes for a lot of conversation. But we're going to stick to the topic at hand tonight. I want to, like I was sharing, because the hour goes by so quickly and I've eaten up a lot of it, I want to jump right into your book. The title alone, Black Grief, White Grievance. The Politics of Loss. And it's a book that details how Black grief and white grievance feed into the political construct of America. I don't know what's wrong with my mouth tonight. I don't think it's ready to come back to work. I think that's what's happening. But I'm going to apologize to you for that. Can you talk with us first about from where the idea, the inspiration, the concept came?
Yeah, so I began working on this book, Black Grief, White Grievance, actually in 2016, after the Ferguson protests, right? And we all, experienced that that moment where, people were out in the streets and were being, met with this hugely militarized police response, and there were people who were critical of the ways in which people were protesting and expressing their grief and anger. So that's when I started thinking about, okay, what are the ways in which people mobilize around Black grief? And then what are the ways in which those responses are policed? And of course, we saw, that again, even more widely with the 2020 protests after the killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And then the other part that happened was that, in 2016, then you had the Trump presidency, the Trump campaign, and everything that brought up in terms of the racism, the misogyny, the anti-immigrant sentiments. And that led me to think, okay, we're having these people mobilizing around Black grief on the one hand, and then you have these people mobilized by this discourse of kind of racial resentment, right? That white people were somehow feeling like they were being displaced. And so that gave me the idea for we have to think about these as two ways in which people are mobilizing around loss, some real, others imagined, but they're both, responses or mobilizations in response to real or perceived loss. And that's what led to the framework of the book.
I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. So in your opinion, how would you say Black grief and white grievance play a role in the construct of racial politics?
Absolutely. That's a really good question. So I think when we look at this historically, what we see is that loss has not been equally distributed. Political loss in the United States. Black people have had to endure more losses, and white people have been relatively insulated from loss as a group because they have been the dominant group politically, socially, economically. And so I think the relationship between the two is that often white grievance displaces and takes away attention from Black grief, right? So one good example of this is the people who respond to Black Lives Matter by saying all lives matter, Of course, when you say Black Lives Matter, you're not saying other lives don't matter, but you're responding to the way in which Black people have not had the same kind of care and concern, right? But then
Sure.
when people say all lives matter in response, they're saying somehow you paying attention to Black people makes me feel like you're displacing me from my rightful place. So that's kind of the relationship that I'm trying to talk about.
You know, I must say I was as were many people. I was so my spirit was vexed. I was so torn, when we were living and trying to navigate the losses of both George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and so many others.
Yes.
And having this conversation, it was a difficult one with even friends of mine of other ethnicities and racial backgrounds. It's still a difficult conversation, but it was even more difficult, as you know, during that time. And I actually had hope. I had some hope that because we were having the conversations and we were having the conversations honestly, because nobody cared about a buffer. We were all saying, well, this is how I feel, this is how I think, and this is my reaction to what you're saying. That's I feel this way about what you're saying. I was hopeful that we would get to a place where we could even take one step forward positively, and I don't feel that we did. I really don't feel that we did. I feel like we did was we brought up more anger. We brought out more anger, and I feel like we brought out even though truths were told, but I say constantly, we don't always adult properly and we don't communicate effectively. And as a result, we are still harboring this anger. We're still harboring resentment, as it pertains to one another. So I'm so curious. I'm sharing with you how I feel and what I'm thinking because I'm curious. Because I know that you teach courses on racial justice and Black political thought. I am so curious to know of some of the conversations in your classrooms. They've got to be intense. They've got to be intense because we have a whole new generation now.
Yeah.
Please talk with us about that atmosphere, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's really interesting to be, I think, teaching in this moment. I think, a lot of, my students they're young. And so they're some of their first, experiences really of protest were the 2020 protests. And I think many of them feel disillusioned now, and they feel like they failed in some way because they were so hopeful that they would lead to really major transformations, and they feel like that hasn't happened. And so it can be, I think, challenging sometimes to talk to them about that and to try to give them some kind of historical perspective. I think, but the other thing that I find, and this is really interesting, I teach a course on slavery, and one of the things that's, we're of course all know all the debates about how we should teach these topics and what can be taught. But one of the things that I find is always that, a lot of students don't know a lot and they want to know more. Right? That their response is to say, oh, this is really difficult, but it's really important for me to grapple with. And I actually want to have that conversation that I haven't been able to have because I wasn't really taught this history. So I think it's, young people are trying to figure out, how do the kind of changes that they want to see, the things that they're concerned about, how those might possibly happen, and they also are actually interested in history and in thinking about, how did people before us do this, and what can we learn from that?
I am happy to say that, well, I'm happy to hear you say that your students were actually anxious for knowledge, and they want to know more. I think that's so important because there's so much that even we don't know. Our generation doesn't know, and we need to know. We need to know our history. I'm curious to know if you are in agreement with. So I happen to believe that we, as Black people, have difficulty getting to a place of understanding to move forward because we don't know our past. We don't
Yeah.
know enough of our culture. We don't know enough of our past. And I'm curious to know if in your conversations, if in your classes, um, if in through your experiences, if
Mhm.
you would agree with that.
Um, so I think I would say yes and no. I think yes in the sense that one of the things that has been interesting in talking to people about this book is having people discover things that they may have sort of known about, but learning more. So I did an interview recently, and one of the people, there's a chapter in the book in Black Grief, White Grievance that's about Harriet Jacobs and Ida B. Wells, who are just, such important, figures, African American thinkers, women who were so so smart and give us so much to work with. And I have had people say, oh my God, I hadn't really thought about Jacobs or Wells or really read their work so carefully. And I'm really glad for the opportunity to really do that. And so I think you're right that there's all of these resources that we have, and we don't know enough about them. And so yeah, I think that it's, there's definitely so much to be learned by engaging with this kind of very rich tradition of African American political thought in particular, which is what I draw on in the book.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I so appreciate your candor, your honesty, and your transparency, because that's what we hear. That's what we do here. That's what we do here. So I so appreciate that. We are going to go to commercial break in a moment, but before we do, I do want to share that Rowena Brown is joining us, and she's sending love, and I receive it and accept it, and I thank you so much for all the birthday love. Will Downing, hello there, Mr. Will Downing. He is sharing love as well, and he says to you, your response, Professor, well said. We live in a time where people are not sympathetic to much of anything. People have to a get over it mentality, or if you wait long enough, the problem situation will go away, and it's sad. It is sad. It really is sad. I'll tell you one thing. I was so hopeful by the energy that I felt in the atmosphere by the younger generation during the Black Lives Matter movement. I felt like, okay, my generation, we just didn't do enough. We're not doing enough. And I really, really felt like the younger generation was kickstarting. I really felt like I felt so inspired. I really did. I felt so inspired. And I'm sorry to hear you say that they feel deflated, like they failed. That was exactly how I felt when all of our efforts started to die down, when the movements started to lose traction. That's how I felt. I felt hugely deflated, and like, we just lost steam. And I felt like, okay, well, here we go. We're back where we started. And oh, I'm sorry, you were about to say something.
Well, I would say two things to that. One is that I think what we are experiencing is the backlash to what those protests did achieve, right? So I think we're in a moment of deep backlash, which is, a pattern that recurs throughout U.S. history. Whenever you have any kind of progress towards racial justice, racial equality, you get, very, very strenuous white backlash racist backlash in response. And I think we're in one of those moments. And those are very difficult moments for sure. I think the other thing that I would say is I would say, I don't know. I think that it's hard to appreciate how much. I mean, I think it's easy to say there hasn't been immediate huge structural change, but I think one of the things that that the movement for Black Lives has been able or did accomplish is really, there are all of these things that we pay attention to now that we weren't paying attention to. Like if you think about, the way people think about what DAs are doing and even people talking about how we need to change policing and how we need to think about other kinds of solution and address mental health issues rather than just incarcerating people. I think they have really managed to really change the conversation in really important ways. And so, maybe people aren't out in the streets, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't an impact or that people aren't still working, even if we're not seeing it.
I appreciate that. I received that. I can agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah, I think for me, I was expecting a miracle. That's what my issue was. I was expecting a miracle. But you're right. You're absolutely right in saying that. Family, listen, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. We're going to take just a short commercial break, but stay with us because we're coming right back.
And now,
in the midst of challenging times, our Black spaces, our voices, and our stories are under attack. Our goal? To reach 2,000 members by the end of the year. We need your support now more than ever. WURD Radio has been your trusted source for Black talk media for 20 years, and we want to continue making history for another 20. This is urgent, and the time to act is now. Help us move forward and up to reach our goal. Visit wordradio.com and join the movement. Let's stand together. Let's make a difference. Go to wordradio.com and become a member today.
Tune into WURD Radio this Thursday at 10 a.m. for City Council Live, hosted by Ernest Owens. Join conversations that matter to your community with your local City Council members.
This WURD public service announcement is a reminder that every voice and every vote counts. We are committed to keeping you informed, and we encourage you to participate in the process.
I'm Tanya Pendleton, the host of Reality Check on WURD from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Wednesday. Why should you vote? Because you have a voice. If you're concerned about the things that I'm concerned about, crime in our community and affordable housing for everyone, then make sure you pull up for a seat at the table by voting. Vote in November and make your voice heard.
This PSA is a part of Every Voice, Every Vote, a collaborative project of the Lenfest Institute for Journalism, with lead support provided by the William Penn Foundation. Learn more at www.everyvoice-everyvote.org. Editorial content is created independently of the project's donors.
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go. Almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. But the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD. We are talking with Professor Juliet Hooker, and we began the conversation talking about her book, which is titled Black Grief, White Grievance, The Politics of Loss. I do want to share some of our family members are joining the conversation. Tony Brown shares, so what, another 400 years, Black people? How long does it take to know some people are not for you or your people? Could one Black person tell me the definition of insanity? Because Black people are insane in America. Ms. Joanne Dorman is joining us. Hello. Hello. So happy to have you join us. She's sending love, and I'm sending it right back to you. Peace and love to the WURD family, she's sharing. Rick is joining us. Eric, that is. Just Rick. He shares, hello. Your friend Eric here. Question for you both. Do you find that our youth look back at our Black history and feel completely disparaged, that they don't have an even chance to excel, just like several other accomplished ethnic individuals, authors, actors, singers, professionals like yourselves? No, I don't believe they do. Since you're asking the question of us both, no, my response would be no. I feel that just like I was sharing with you about the energy that was displayed with the younger generation, like they took charge, they started movements, they were very vocal, they were very active. I don't believe, my answer would be no. No to that. No to that. Michael Upshaw is saying hello. Oh, thank you for the birthday love. Thank you. Pepper Thomas is joining us and saying hello as well. Michael says greetings to the entire family. So, Professor, I have another question for you, as you know. And I want to thank you again so much for your transparency and your candor, because I know, sometimes this subject matter can be, it can be a hard conversation in some rooms. So there's nothing but love here. We have the conversations here, but there's nothing but love. So thank you for obliging. But I'm curious to know if during the Black Lives Matter movement, when some white people believed, well, they may have believed that the United States had catered more to Black people. I think we all witnessed some of that. We experienced some of that. So would you say, let me rephrase my question. Okay, so during the Black Lives Matter, where we were saying that some white people may have believed that the United States had catered more to Black people, which made them believe that whites may indirectly be under attack or mistreated, would you say that plays into like the white victimhood mentality? I wrote this question out and I didn't write it out clearly. So when I went to think about repeating it, it just did not roll off the tongue as planned.
So one of the things that I write about in the book in Black Grief, White Grievance is this, is first of all that, we need to think about how some white folks do feel like they're being displaced from their rightful place at the center of U.S. politics, and this is mobilizing them, right? They are, they have these grievances that they are, even though that, they haven't been displaced, they are still, responding to the sense of loss or this threat. And one of the things that I talk about in the book is this idea that what they're responding to is anticipatory loss, right? They're anticipating that they're going to be displaced, and they're desperately trying to make sure that doesn't happen because they haven't been displaced. But that's why you get all this, like with immigrants, you get this rhetoric about, immigrant invasions or, the sense that, for example, when Barack Obama was elected, that somehow this meant that Black people were trying to dominate, white folks. So I think this is what happens, right? So when some white people feel displaced, they react with this sense of white victimhood, and then they become mobilized around these projects to try to that are really kind of racist and reactionary in order to try to get back to what they think is their rightful place at the center of U.S. politics.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Thank you for that. This will probably be my last question for you as I look at the time. How would you say Black grief could be a driving force in political movement within the Black community, particularly?
So I think there's been an important tradition in Black politics where Black grief has been mobilizing politically, right? So, a very iconic example of this is Emmett Till's funeral and the work that his mother, Mamie Till Bradley, did by having an open casket funeral, and how that mobilized people of that generation. And if you think, about the more recently, right, the mothers of the movement, and the way in which their grief, their activism after the loss of their children then became really this an important part of the protest against police violence. So I think you have this history really of public mourning around Black losses then become this force that mobilizes people politically. And I think one of the things that I talk about in the book is that there have been really important, this has been a really important tradition that has been really central, but that we also have to think about the cost of that activism and have to think about, what we're asking of families of people who have lost loved ones, and what obligations we have as a result of the work that they have been forced to do to try to get justice for their loved ones.
Professor, could you please share with our family members where we can find your book?
So the book is available on Amazon. It's available on the Princeton University Press website as well. And you can find information on events where I'm talking about the book on my website, juliethooker.com.
I so appreciate that. I do want to share with you some of the love that is coming in from our family members. Cheryl, hi there, Cheryl. Cheryl Hicks Lucas is sending love, and she also says, actually, those that feel like they're being displaced are not trying to be fair. They just want to stay on top. They see how powerful, strong, and creative we are, and they're intimidated. We actually deserve to be appreciated and celebrated, not hidden. I am in agreement with that as well. Miss Lily is sharing love, and she says hello. She's sharing love with the entire WURD family. Professor, I just really want to say thank you again for joining us, for spending some time with us. I'm so sorry that the conversation is not longer, but I am so hopeful that you will come back so that we can continue the conversation and we can really dig deeper into some of these topics, because I'm so intrigued. This conversation intrigues me. It really, really does. And would you come back to visit?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
So glad.
Come back anytime.
Oh, I do want to share Brennan. Hey there. Brennan Williams is joining the conversation as well. And he shares, this is a great conversation. Thank you so much. I was just saying that, Brennan. I was just saying that. Family, hey there. I'm talking to you. You're tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We've just had, well, it's been an inspiring conversation for me with Professor Juliet Hooker. You should get her book, okay? She did share that you can get it on Amazon and you could get it on her website as well. The title is Black Grief, White Grievance, The Politics of Loss. Thank you again, Professor Hooker. We're going to take just a short commercial break, family, but stay with us because we will be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Evening Words.
Whenever I have you on, Iman, I listen to your tone of voice to try to discern what level of stress you might be under. But can you tell us a little bit now about what work you might be doing?
It's extremely hard because I work in my world and my colleagues, people who I consider my friend beyond just colleagues at work, are Israelis, Palestinians, Arabs, Iranians, and we collectively are working towards a vision of a better future for our region. People within our own circles suddenly point the fingers, how could you still work with an Israeli? And then the Israeli partner will say to me, Amal, you don't know how many times I'm hearing that I am a traitor because I'm still continuing to work towards peace with Iranians, Palestinians, and Arabs. The level of stress is extremely high, but we came together in this latest conflict and realized that our mere existence is an antidote to the level of hate and violence that is being done in our name.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Evening Words on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
King C. Gillette wants you to have noticeably better facial hair, and they make it easy. Just trim, wash, and soften for facial hair that feels as good as it looks.
Bank of America is stepping up when it matters most. Last year, to expand our efforts to advance racial equality and economic opportunity, we committed $1.25 billion over 5 years. To date, we've put nearly $400 million to work, including a $10 million grant to fund the Center for Black Entrepreneurship. At Bank of America, we call this a nice start. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
How do airplanes fly? What's in this box? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Learn how to store your gun securely and make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
It's a celebration.
You're invited to join WURD Radio in celebration of our 20th anniversary. It's an evening of Black excellence and elegance. Friday, November 10th at the beautiful Fiddler Club in downtown Philadelphia. The event begins at 6 p.m. The evening will include a tribute to Cody Anderson and longtime WURD hosts with a special appearance by Bill Anderson. The celebration continues with a live performance by songstress Carol Riddick, and DJ Gary O will be rocking the house with a dance party featuring your favorites from the old school till today. For WURD members, you get a special discounted price. Visit wordradio.com/20th anniversary for tickets and information. Our 20th anniversary celebration is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Lottery, Jefferson Health Plan, Tucker Law Group, Wells Fargo, and Penn Medicine.
Let's all celebrate and have a good time.
We're bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD Radio, 900 AM and 96.1 FM, WURD, Philadelphia, celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. Streaming online at wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. So here we are, Tuesday, October 31st, the last day of October. Do you believe it? Do you believe it? I don't. I need to share with you some reminders. The first of which is that WURD Radio is sharing a harvest for the world. Now through December 31st, visit wordradio.com to find information on upcoming Give Back events in the Philadelphia area. If your organization is hosting free clothing giveaways, food drives, free workshops, community dinners, and more, please share the details using the form on our website. Visit wordradio.com/The Harvest and look for the Harvest banner. It's harvest time, and we are sharing information on those giving back to the community. The Harvest is brought to you by Comcast, Pico, Keystone First, and the United Way. Progressive Black Talk Media. I also want to remind you that we need support. We need the support from our community, and that means you. Our Forward and Up campaign has an unprecedented goal for Word Radio to recruit 2,000 members of the Forward movement. Now, you know I believe in Word. Y'all know I do. And because you are listening, I happen to believe that you do too. So if you are not already a member of the Forward movement, well, now is the time. Go to wordradio.com and click membership at the top of the page, right there at the top of the page. Help us to reach our goal of 2,000 members in our 20th year of Black Talk Media. So, family, I happen to, the conversation that we just had is always what I believe to be a necessary one, but there's some of that conversation. It will continue because it definitely needs to continue. But I do want to share with you before we move forward and have the conversation with our next guest this evening, some of the comments that have been shared on our socials. Tony Brown shares, I don't play games with them cave dwelling people who had lice and fleas. Tony, I remind them of their history all the time, folks. How do you remind them, Tony? How do you do that? Cheryl shares, Cheryl Hicks Lucas shares, I read that. I did read that. Read that. Malcolm shares, their biggest fear is being on the receiving end of everything we've been through for 400 years. You know, like I said, I was really hopeful and I felt so inspired during the Black Lives Matter movement. I felt so. I was so inspired. I really thought that we were moving forward in a positive way, and I felt like this huge energy from the younger generation, and you know it was interesting to me. And tell me if you feel the same way. I really felt like I said, "Oh, these babies, they have a." It wasn't really anger, but it was a confidence that I feel like our generation just didn't exercise. Not to say that we didn't have it. I just feel like we didn't exercise it. But I feel like there was a confidence that they definitely displayed during that time. And it really it felt good to me, number one. It felt inspiring to me, number two. But I was so hopeful that we were going to just lock. I was so hopeful that and I'm not saying that we won't, but I felt more hopeful during that time that we were going to lock and that we were going to make um some more change. But we did make some things that change. Like, you know, the professor shared. I was in agreement with what she said. But I was just hopeful. I was hopeful for this miracle. I really was. Hey there, Harold. Harold is saying hello and sharing love. And he shares that was a great interview. Thank you. Thank you for that love. And Pepper, hey, it's my boop, my beloved. Hi, Pepper. Pepper Thomas shares they have a different energy. Yes, they do. They most certainly do. They really do. But you know, like I said, I'm hopeful that going forward, we'll still have some of that energy to come back. So, family, here we are in the second hour. We have our second guest, another conversation to have. Our next guest, we've had a conversation with her in the past, and we're going to have another exciting one. Our next guest is a licensed marriage and family therapist who currently serves as an AAMFT approved clinical supervisor at Drexel University, as well as the clinical coordinator for the Black Brain Campaign LEAP program. You've had conversations with her, and we're going to have another exciting one. She is none other than Dr. Kevana Nixon. Hi there, beautiful. How are you today?
Hi, Kara. I'm good. How are you?
I am well, thank you. I just got an alert. Actually, we were having a very, very interesting conversation, and this conversation it's a continuing one. It's most definitely a continuing. But I'm going to ask for your patience for a moment because one of our family members is on the phone line and is waiting to join the conversation. Hello there. I believe it's Malcolm. Is that you?
Yeah, Carol.
Hi, Malcolm. How are you?
Yeah, I'll keep it short since you have a guest. But that was an interesting interview. And first of all, I wanted to say happy birthday again.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to put a voice to the comment.
Definitely share it. You know I'm interested, Malcolm. You know I am.
And that was an interesting segment, the last segment. I was listening to that.
But definitely, it's a good conversation, though, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is right on point.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had so many arguments with some of these fools on Facebook. I mean, it's insane, and a lot of it is false bravado. That's
so
just my
the arguments that you've had have been particularly about what exactly?
Okay, for instance, there'll be like a post that might suggest race, or it'll be something that might have some sort of issue that may or may not bring race into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll make a comment that might suggest racism, and I'll get a whole bunch of responses coming down on me.
It fuels the fire.
Then I have to pretty much almost censor myself because of the algorithms.
Sure.
The algorithms themselves are racist.
Yeah, well,
and then it'll turn into a whole history lesson. One thing I noticed about some of these white conservatives, most of it is false bravado, because they say stuff that they would never say to you to your face. I know from experience, and a lot of them really don't know history. Most of them don't know what they're talking about, and they expect to talk down to you like you don't know your history. So I can go into the history lessons and shut them all down. And usually the conversation descends into name calling. And it'll be like, you need to get over it, or you people could go back to Africa. That's always the funniest part to me.
We've seen that comment a lot. We've heard that a lot. That's a
get
comment.
over it, go back to Africa. All of that kind of stuff. And I just hit them even harder, and just tell them, you don't have the moral right to tell me to go anywhere because you're not from here either. So half of you are from Ireland or Europe somewhere. So you don't even have the moral right to tell me to go anywhere. So, I mean, it gets crazy on social media.
Oh, I don't doubt that it does. I don't doubt that it does. Well, on social media, people have license to say pretty much anything.
Yeah, they say what they want to say.
Pretty much anything.
Nobody's going to punch them in the mouth. That's why.
Well, let's see. I mean, I'm in agreement with that comment, but the other side of that, and I'm thinking like in person, because now you've heard me talk enough. You hear me. I'm the silver lining girl. I'm the one that wants to talk about it. I want to discuss. I want to know, okay, so from where is this frustration coming? Why are you so upset? I want to find the answer. That's who I am. That's what I'm always trying to do. Someone that's coming to me with a lot of aggression and frustration, and who doesn't even know me for whatever. This has nothing to do with me.
But see, I've had these conversations in my past, in real life, in real time, before social media. With a lot of false bravado white men.
Okay.
And as soon as you get in their face, most of the time they back down.
Okay, so it hasn't come to a point where it's had to be physical. It, like when you
I'd say twice. Yes, it has.
really.
Yeah.
See that I'm going to tell you, Malcolm. That's what I am so fearful of, that because I know that as a Black man, you are not protected. I know that you're not protected, and I'm so fearful
Right.
of that, the hurt, the deeply rooted anger and hurt that we as Black people have and that we carry, and also what you as a Black man carry as a result of it.
Oh yeah. I've had
I'm
my encounters with police officers too. You know, been there, done that.
Yes, that always. I'm worried about y'all.
But a lot of it, Carol, I'll tell you, before social media, in my experience, has been false bravado. One thing I can say, no white man has ever called me the N-word to my face. He's never had the heart to call me that to my face. I had one white man spit at me once, way back, years ago in the military, and I made him pay for it. That's all I can say. I made him pay for it.
I'm grateful
Other
that
than that,
you're here to talk with us about it, Malcolm, because that's so dangerous.
I'd say 90% of the time, it's just false bravado because they're afraid of it. For the most part, they're afraid of it, and I've seen it up close and personal that they're afraid of it. They will talk tough until you get in their face. No weapons, none of that. They could never meet us on a level playing field, no matter what, even toe to toe. In my experience, they can never match us toe to toe.
Do you ever think that will change?
I don't know. I mean, I'm getting up in age now, and I've seen a lot. It's hard to say. We need, at this point, we need the young people to step up.
So let me ask you, when we're talking, when I was sharing with you all about, my feelings during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement and all of the efforts that were in play, did you two feel inspired by that, or did you think it would last longer than it did, or?
I felt inspired by it. I thought it was great because I'm of the age where I remember the Black Power movement. I was growing up through all of that. So I remember all of that. So I thought it was great. Sadly, it fizzled out because of some other issues with the organization itself. Things that I, read about, heard about, was a lot of things that were, I guess, inappropriate with the organization. I don't even want to go there.
I remember that. I definitely remember. I remember how everything began to, dissolve as a result of those conversations. I remember. But in the height of it, in the beginning, I'm talking about that energy, not about that, but about the energy that we all had in the beginning of it. That made me feel empowered, inspired, because I felt like we were coming together. And I don't just mean Black people, just as a whole.
White people, a lot of white people.
Exactly, because we had a lot of allies that were coming forward too. So I really felt like there was going to be more change than there was, and I feel like what you were just sharing, the with the things that were coming out, I felt like that was just the thing for anybody, any naysayer to say, oh, see, that was all that was needed for any naysayer to see, I knew, that was just what was needed. And I was saddened that we didn't continue to move forward with the energy that with which we started. I was saddened by that. I really was.
I feel the same way. I kind of feel like it kind of fizzled out.
But
we need to get re-energized again. We got to get re-energized.
I have to say one thing. Now I know I share. You all hear me. You hear me every day. You hear me. I'm very transparent. But I know that I share that I'm a silver lining person. But I am not a human being that cares to entertain something that I definitely know is not true. Like you, Malcolm, you shared that a lot of these people, these bullies, these people, they don't have much knowledge or information about what they're sharing with you or talking about. And what they have, the majority of, is aggression. That's what they have. When they come at you, it's aggression. And I see that as displaced because you don't really have an issue. You don't know me to have an issue with me.
Right.
But second, I can't give you my good energy because I don't want that energy that you have to transfer. I don't want to give you an opening for it to transfer. I don't want to receive it. I'm not going to entertain it. Racism just has no place in my spirit. It just doesn't. It just really, it doesn't. I can't entertain it, and I'm not going to allow somebody to force it in my space. Like, no, don't misunderstand me, because as a Black woman, you know I've had experiences. I still have experiences. You know I do. But let me tell you, what you won't get is this spirit. What you won't. You will not. What I have to do is remove myself. I have to remove now, y'all, I have to tell y'all, I do have a tongue on me. Okay. I don't use expletives and profanity, but I will cut you deeply. I will. I know. I'm not proud to say it, but I am my mother's child. So you will know fully and well how I feel and what
just
I'm
calling in. I know I have to censor myself and not saying so I don't get cut off of the radio.
Don't you get my show cut off now. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a person. I don't like to yell, scream. I'm not a person that chooses to use expletives. I don't need to curse at you for you to know how I feel, but you will know clearly how I feel, and you will feel how I feel. You will definitely. But I want to say thank you, Malcolm. I'm so glad you called. I am so glad you called.
Yeah, I just wanted, just take time out to call since it's your birthday, But I just lay back in the cut and I'm still listening.
Okay. Thank you, Malcolm. I do want to go to our socials for a moment. Our family members have been talking. Antoinette, hi, beloved. Hey, beautiful. She's sharing a hello, and she also shares social media bullies behind a keyboard to Malcolm's comment. She also shares much come from a limited information standpoint, regurgitating what they heard, open and closed quote, or passed down in their household. Yeah, I do believe that. I do. I do believe that too. Miss Joanne, hi, beautiful. She's joining us as well. And she shares, I don't even care that much to entertain racist people. Hello. When and if the situation should arise. I feel like it's such an unfair playing field, and I don't want to lower myself to deal with them. I feel this. And Antoinette also shares, sadly, no, the government is behind dismantling anything pro-Black. Well, I'll tell you this. Okay, the government is complicit in protecting the white supremacist. That's what Antoinette shares. Listen, sometimes I'm not sure if we don't do things to harm ourselves. We don't always, don't be mad, family. Don't be mad at me, because we talk about things here. So I'm saying what I feel and I'm telling you what I think. But we don't always approach our situations with the right energy, with the right information, with the right attitude to help it to thrive. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that the government is not against. I'm sorry. I am not saying that the government is not against helping us, because I've shared with you also that we still have antiquated laws that are in full effect, that were created so that the Black man, the Black woman, the Black family could not thrive. So I've been clear about my position on that. So I'm in agreement with you, but I'm also saying that we don't always help ourselves. We could do more to help further ourselves. And we don't. It saddens me, but that's why we're here on Love and Life, because you already know I like to talk about everything, and that I like to do so in love, no matter the position, whether we agree or not. I always say we can agree to disagree if it comes to that, as long as the conversation at its core and at its root is in love. I can talk to you and not agree with what you're saying and still love you tomorrow and today and right after the conversation is over. Okay, I can do that. And you can do it too. You can do it too. And I feel like I say it, I've said it to you guys before, that I feel like as adults, we don't really know how to adult properly. We've gotten into a space where we believe that I need to fight you if you don't agree with me. Like, no, no. It's all right if you don't agree with me. Either one of us could be wrong about the point or what have you, but it doesn't have to come to a point where there's aggression, where aggression is involved and where we need to fight about it. We can walk away from each other and say, Charles, you crazy. That's typically what we say, but but we can do that. It doesn't have to affect my spirit that you don't agree with me. It doesn't have to change my spirit. My energy doesn't have to change because we're not in agreement. I can say, girl, all right. So let's talk about something else. Let's move on to the next thing so that our energy can stay, positive or something like that. That's what we should do, y'all. That's what we should do. But okay, I digress. Family, it's time for us to take just a short break, but do know that the phone lines are still open, and you know the numbers to call. And if you don't, you can call 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. You can also continue to comment on our socials, and I will do my best to read it aloud on the air. Whatever you do, though, stay with us, okay? Because we're coming right back.
Hi, this is Joanne Bell of Black Women's Leadership Council asking you to join us in celebration of WURD's 20th anniversary at the Fitler Club on November 10th. For more information, please go to wordradio.com. I hope to see you there. I'll be there too.
JD's Auto Body and Painting, Philly's premier paint and body shop, provides everything you need for expert auto body repairs. Car accidents are an unexpected occurrence. It's stressful, interrupts your life, and causes unexpected expenses. So let JD's professional staff and expert technicians relieve your stress and get your car back to pre-accident condition fast. Get your free estimates with 10% savings today. Call 215-848-5949. JD's Auto Body and Painting, Wayne Avenue and Washington Lane in Philadelphia, gets the job done right the first time. Expert workmanship, frame service, top-of-the-line painting, detailing, free towing, claims assistance, deductible help, and all work is guaranteed. Find out what it feels like to be a valued customer. Call 215-848-5949. Philly's leader in auto body and painting, JD's Auto. Visit JD's Auto Body and Painting Inc.com. Hey, this is Doug Henderson, and I trust my car repairs to JD's Auto Body and Painting.
WURD Radio is sharing a harvest for the world. Now through December 31st, visit wordradio.com to find information on upcoming give back events in the Philadelphia area. If your organization is hosting free clothing giveaways, food drives, free workshops, community dinners, and more, please share the details using the form on our website. Visit wordradio.com and look for the Harvest banner. It's harvest time, and we're sharing information on those giving back to the community. The Harvest is brought to you by Comcast, PICO, Keystone First, and the United Way. We are WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hello there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick. We are talking right now with Dr. Kevana Nixon. Now, I have asked for her patience of ask because the subject matter in the first hour was such a hefty load to process. How about that? But I'm curious because it's a conversation that I'm just not ready to end. So I would love to join both you, Dr. Nixon, and Nick to this conversation. Nick, I'm curious to know from you. Well, actually, from both of you. I'll ask you both the same question. I'll do that. I'll start with that. So I'm curious to know because I've shared with you all how I felt during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement and how inspired I felt and how just about how everything made me feel during that time. I'm curious to know from both of you your perspectives and how you felt during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement. Either
All right.
one. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is Nick. I guess how I felt during it was I thought that it was I had nothing wrong with the protest or anything like that because I thought it was all appropriate given that we all watched a man die on camera and the fact that there was people, mostly online who would just go, well, this guy did this or this guy did that. And they were very blasé about it. And so I think being blasé about people losing their lives to police brutality is absolutely the wrong way to look at it, not just as a Black American, but as a citizen. I think it's a very scary thing. And while we as Black people all know in all fear, we keep this in the back of our minds that, well, that could be my brother, that could be me, that could be, if I'm a parent, that could be my son out there that gets killed like that. I feel like other Americans, other racial groups tend to look at it differently. And so I think we were able during the height of the movement to really get a lot of people on our side, a lot of support from a lot of different people. But where they sort of lost me was when the riots broke out. And I'm not going to say that the riots shouldn't have happened at all. I think that's not something that you can control no matter who you are in government. When the people are upset, and they're going to let you know by showing you civil unrest. However, I do think that that's one of those things that once that happens, then you're essentially giving all those people who already had an issue with the way the movement was going. They go, well, see, that's why I didn't support them because they're not in control and all they want to do is go around looting. So I think that hurt the movement.
That's a good perspective. I mean, I understand that. Thank you for that, Nick. Dr. Nixon.
Yeah, for me, a lot of emotions, and I'll just preface it with, again, I've always been a person very much pro-Black, very much even before Black Lives Matter came out in regards to having hard conversations about where we stand as Black people, right? And like you said, like you, Carol, I was moved. I actually even joined in the protest, by the museum and, in City Hall before they became kind of violent and got out of hand. But for me, it was like, yes, let's be actionable. And as Malcolm said earlier, when I went out, I saw everybody coming together, right? This was the one time during the pandemic where nobody can hide from what's happening. Nobody can ignore it. Nobody can kind of pacify it. It's in your face. You have nowhere else to go. And I think that's what really pushed everybody to be a part of it. And so for me, very emotional throughout the whole process. And I think the biggest thing for me was, again, for a person who's always been, I grew up in a household that was very pro-Black, and knowing your history, knowing who you are, it was interesting to see, again, other Black people who are maybe, yes, like Nick said, it's in the back, the peripheral, and there's two issues that are happening, but now it's in the forefront. And so I was happy, but a little disheartened that it took these incidents for now people to say, oh, well, yeah, this is happening. Oh, microaggressions are happening, or this is happening. And I'm like, well, like I said, Carol, I'm like you, I'm direct. Well, it's been happening.
It has been happening.
It's been happening, right? And to an extent, I think we've gotten comfortable. So for me, again, it was a mix of emotions. I'm kind of on the other side of it. Like, yes, I never want anybody to get hurt or harmed in the process, but I understand how much we've been hurt and harmed and how that is expressed through our actions, right? And I think the one thing I always struggle with is, again, the onus being put on the Black community of not showing up a certain way. When I look at, yeah, you know what, they weren't right for looting and tearing up the neighborhood. I said, but I live in this neighborhood, and guess what? It is back to being worked. It is back to being functional. These organizations, these companies still operate in a way where even in that part of the destruction doesn't change the narrative, right? Their narrative is deeper than that. As you said, it's policies, it's procedures, it's embedded, it's in the fabric. It's in the fabric of our world, right? And so
it is.
Yeah, and so so just a mix of emotions. Was excited and happy at moments, and very kind of just saddened and disheartened at other moments in the process.
Thank you both for that. Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you, family, period, because, I appreciate you contributing to the conversation when I extend the invitation. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. I do want to take a moment to go to our phone lines. One of our family members has been waiting to join the conversation. Hello, and thank you so much for calling. Hi there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. This is
Hi.
Carol. Can you hear me?
Yes, I sure can.
Okay. Hi, this is Cheryl. I usually type, but this is a little, not very lengthy, but too lengthy to write. But I wonder, I'm 63. I grew up in a time where the Black Power movement, fortunately, my parents were very, and I have 5 brothers and sisters who were very pro-Black, and the Afros were out, and we were one of the few. I know in my elementary school we were bused, we were mistreated. The teachers were literally picketing against us. Now with Black Lives Matter, I was still optimistic because I saw that we are fighting back, because we have to stand up for ourselves. I live in Florida now. I don't have much of a problem. I'm skipping around a little bit, but I used to be a realtor, and what I did is before I moved here, I looked up the different counties. I knew I wanted to live in Central, not South, because of the weather, and I wanted to see if they marched for George Floyd. I did some, what kind of violence there was, which I told all my clients is that mostly domestic. They did march for George Floyd. How many Black people are here? I want to make sure everything was equal. But recently, a young, now an older man, he came up, and I was putting my cart, taking it back. He said, "Oh, I'll take it back." And he had a veteran's hat. And I said, "Well, tall white man." I said, "Well, thank you very much." And I said, "And thank you for your service." And he says, "Oh, thank you." And then he started out of there just complaining about the migrants. And I just looked at him. I said, "You know what, sir?" I said, part of my ancestors, a third of them were here before your ancestors and a lot of people's ancestors. I said, my other ancestors were forced to be here. I said, so how can we tell people that they can't come here? And he just looked at me and he says, well, at least they can't blame anything on Trump. I said, well, he's done quite enough, sir. And I just walked in. I wouldn't argue with him because it's ridiculous. And it was a waste of time, which I don't have.
That's how I feel. I can't entertain that. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying about agreeing to disagree. I'm going to walk away because like you said, like Cheryl, you said, look, I don't have the time. I don't want to invite that. You feel the way you feel.
And the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew the truth. And the thing about it is that I want to let him know, I know the truth. I don't care what you say. You can't say, this is America. We're all hell. Your grandfather just came over here I've been here way long before, and you're going to keep other people out and complain, and you're getting a heads up, and you're getting all these loans, and you're getting all this favor, and these people, obviously, and you're keeping others down, and how is that right? And they know it's wrong. That's why he stopped, and he just looked at me like, okay, I don't think I need to talk to her anymore because she's educated. I think I do it all the time, and I know who I am, and I grew up to be strong.
And I applaud you. No, I applaud you, and I appreciate you for that. I think it's so important that we stay educated, that we continue to learn, because there's a lot that I don't know, but there's a lot that I do. There's a lot that I do, and I'm going to make it known. I definitely am going to make it known, especially when that energy comes to me, because what I'm not going to let you do is tell me who I am. I'm not going to let you do that. I have too much history, too much culture, and too many of us reminding me and letting me know every moment of my life, every single second and moment and hour of my life, who I am as a human being, who I am as a Black woman, who I am as a woman. And I'm grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. So, Miss Cheryl, I applaud you. I applaud you. I definitely, and thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing that story with us. It's just
Well,
I
it's my pleasure. And every day I'm learning of all the different creations that Black people have contributed to America. I'm seeing a lot of that literature out, and so everybody's existing in a very comfortable manner because of us. So I'm going to let you go. So I know the time is getting low. But thank you for taking my call, Doctor. Thank you. God bless both of you.
Thank you, Cheryl.
You're wonderful. Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank
As
you.
well. God bless as well. And thank you. Family, I love it when we have these conversations. And I listen, Dr. Nixon, I know we had a whole nother subject matter to
No, this
discuss.
is good, Carol.
But
This
this
is good. I
is
love
okay.
it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it, Carol. I love it. And I love what you
I love
said.
it. Thank
And I
you.
love what you said, not giving the energy to it, right? Because you're like, I'm not going to give my good energy to it. I love that. And I think hope people take that away from this conversation of what you said. That is so valuable and vital, because when we do give the energy, that's when we cause the anxiety, the depression, the frustration, the stuff. So I love it.
So Malcolm is sharing another comment. He shares, time is repeating itself. The Watts riots of 1965 started over a traffic stop, resulting in the burning down of half of LA. And he also shares, exactly, they expect you to be uneducated about your history so they can talk down to you. And let me tell you, yes, I'm in agreement with that. Yes, I am in agreement with that. We talk about the experiences that we have, because they do continue. We talk about these experiences that we have, and the one thing I must say, and I know some of y'all are saying, look, you are too positive. Nope. Nope. Because God did not give me another second, another minute, another hour, another moment to be anything but praise him and give him glory. And I do that because I am grateful that he gives me another chance to do better, to make it right, to get better. I'm so grateful for that. So when that energy comes my way, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. You don't deserve this. You're catering to something else, and I can't help you with that. And I will not receive that. I will not. I will not. And like I said, I'm constantly looking for information. I want to be educated. I want my education to continue, because now y'all know, I tell you, I don't know everything. And I will tell you if there's something about which we're speaking that I do not know, because I want to know. And I want to be able to share that information so that we know. So that when they see us, they say, oh, okay, not them, because they know. They know. Because I think we look different, we walk different, we talk different when we do know. I do believe that. So, that's why I'm so grateful to have this space too, and to be able to talk with you all and to share, because I learn from each of you, and it's my hope and it's my prayer that we all learn from one another, and that we continue to share, and that we continue to educate one another so that we can grow stronger. When I tell you I cried, I really, well, y'all know I did, because y'all know I'm one big teardrop, but I cried. I'd signed up, I joined different groups that, were proactive during the Black Lives Matter movements and all. I was on the conference calls. I was there, hopeful. I was really, really hopeful that we were going to affect more change. Let me tell you, the biggest challenge that plagues my thought process are these laws that we have in effect. Because until we change these laws, we're the hamster on the wheel. Until we change these laws, and there are more laws than a little bit that were put in effect so that we do not succeed. And we know this. That's the thing about it, though. We know this. We know this. So that's where my thought lies. Malcolm is sharing. It cracks him up when they say we play the race card. Meanwhile, the deck has been stacked in their favor. It definitely is. It definitely is. It definitely is. But the fact that more and more and more and more of us are becoming more educated, I believe it's helpful. I believe it's helpful. And at some point, that deck is going to be sliced. And I'm looking for that day. I'm looking for that day. Family, listen, I'm looking at the time. And it's time for us to take just another short commercial break. But we've got Dr. Nixon here, and we're talking about all kinds of things. You hear me? We're talking about all kinds of things. So, you're invited to the conversation as always. But stay with us because we're going to continue the conversation when we come back. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
And now,
in the midst of challenging times, our Black spaces, our voices, and our stories are under attack. Our goal? To reach 2,000 members by the end of the year. We need your support now more than ever. WURD Radio has been your trusted source for Black talk media for 20 years, and we want to continue making history for another 20. This is urgent, and the time to act is now. Help us move forward and up to reach our goal. Visit WURDradio.com and join the movement. Let's stand together. Let's make a difference. Go to WURDradio.com and become a member today. WURD Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey is brought to you by Comcast.
Voice cloning is one of the latest artificial intelligence scams happening right now. You might get a phone call that sounds like a family member telling you that they've been kidnapped and need money, or maybe you get a call from someone claiming to be from your bank telling you that your account has been compromised. Either way, the conversation sounds perfectly real and legitimate. So what do you do if you get one of these calls? First, hang up and call the person back or text to verify the call. Have a code word that only gets shared among family members that you can ask the caller for. Ask for a customer service number and never give any personal information to someone on a call you didn't initiate. Unfortunately, anyone's voice can be cloned, and the technology is getting more sophisticated every day. So it's up to us to be even more aware of the potential for scams. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at WURDradio.com.
WURD Radio is the only African-American owned and operated talk radio station in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and one of only 3 remaining in the country. In the past 20 years, WURD has evolved into a multimedia, multi-platform communications company that reaches deeply into the Black community through radio, events, digital, and social media. It is considered the go-to channel to engage, interact, and connect with Philadelphia's Black community. Our brand is built on the personal legacy of our founder, Walter P. Lomax Jr., MD. Dr. Lomax was a brilliant physician who established medical centers in underserved neighborhoods throughout Philadelphia to provide high-quality healthcare to Black and Brown communities for over 30 years. One of his most ambitious acquisitions was when he purchased WURD Radio. He understood the power of ownership and the power of independent media. Through WURD, he wanted to ensure that Philadelphia's Black community had the ability to speak and be heard in their own voice. We are celebrating 20 years of Black excellence. We are celebrating 20 years of progressive Black talk media. This vignette was brought to you by Comcast, United Way, and Bank of America.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at WURDradio.com. We are joined in this hour with Dr. Kevana Nixon. And we started a conversation in the first hour with Professor Juliet that continued into this hour. But it's a good conversation. It's not in the sense that the subject matter is good. It's good that we're communicating and we're sharing and we're talking. That is what I mean. That is what I want to share. I'm curious to know, Dr. Nixon, because you are a family therapist as well. Do you has a couple navigating any race issues ever been a scenario that you've had to help them through?
You know what? Not necessarily. And actually, I loved when you asked me that question because it made me think that because I mainly work with Black couples, Black families, is that what I notice is that because we deal with it so much, we are not thinking that impacts our relationship when it does. Right. And so a lot of times, unless I'm bringing it up in regards to how a Black woman operates in a relationship based off of what she has to face and what a Black man has to face in the relationship, or whatever the situation may be, is that, we're so conditioned to conducively deal with it that we don't even think we have to talk about it, have the conversation. So that's why I said it's like, you're right, it's not a great topic, but a great time to be having this conversation. So a lot of times I'm having to highlight it, like those things impact who we are as individuals and how we show up in the relationship.
I mean, in my thought process, I was thinking it has to. It has to, because on a daily basis, we are processing deeply rooted hurt, trauma, confusion. Just we're processing so much individually all the time, every day. I can only imagine that it would show up somewhere in our relationships, familial and romantic, whatever relationship it is, so when I was asking that, I was thinking, like, because like Malcolm, with the conversation that we were having with Malcolm, and I shared with him, as a Black woman, I worry about our Black men. That is constantly in my spirit. All day, every day, I worry about our men.
Yes.
Because it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much at all. And there's always a predator. There's always someone preying on our men. There's always, it's just a fact. It's what we know. It's what we've come, to accept, which is terrible. It's something with which we live. And so here we are, Black women, we're fearing for our men, and our men, they're carrying something even more because they're out here, basically on the front lines. So,
right. And what you're talking about is that's the anxiety, that's the frustration, right? And so if a couple's coming in and the husband is saying, well, she's always on my back, she's always doing this, that, is that what's the underlying thing that's happening for her, right? What fears does she have when you step outside that door? And she doesn't know what's going to happen to you, right? So when she's calling you 50 million times, or she's checking in, or she's doing that, it may not, because maybe it's about some of your actions, but maybe it's this other piece, right? That I consistently have to worry about. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. Right. Or if I'm a Black man and I go into the workforce and I work for corporate America, and I have to go and I have to deal with continuous microaggressions and belittling and however you preview me as a Black man, and then I come home and maybe I'm not getting the same love, support, and I'm now projecting that information, that stuff that I got from work, onto my partner, because I have nowhere else to release it. I have nowhere else to relieve the day-to-day that I have to take on. So I definitely think it's impact. We just don't recognize it because we're just kind of going through it.
Right. Oh, my Lord. Malcolm is also sharing that he actually had a cop put his gun to his head during a traffic stop back in 1989. I can't not imagine. I cannot. I mean, I'm sorry you had that experience. First, let me say that I am terribly sorry that you had that experience, but I am so happy that you are here to tell us about it. You're here to share with us about it. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for that. But but that's something about which I'm speaking. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. We see our loved ones walk out the door, and we don't know. We don't know if we'll see each other again. And I mean, I know as Black women, we deal with a lot as well, but it's in comparison, our men are attacked more often than not. Family, listen, if you have just joined us, you're tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD. We've got a heavy conversation taking place tonight. We've been talking about race. We've been talking about anxiety. We've been talking about aggression. We've been talking about it all. You know what I've been thinking? One story that I read made me think of it. And I don't know what the connection was for me, but it was the story. And I'm not sure if you heard this story about the mother that reported her son missing. She reported her son missing in March, and the police kept the truth from her.
Yes, I heard about that.
But this is what I mean. He left her house with a friend. And here she was asking for help, asking the police for help. When I tell you that crushed my spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all, first of all, y'all know, you know how emotional I am and how deeply things affect me. But at the same time, when I read this stuff, I mean, it's so overwhelming and so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And to know that where she sought help was where the problem was, which is a whole nother thing to deal with. But here we are in 2023, knocking on 24's door, and we're talking about, we're reporting stories like this. We're still navigating. So this is what I mean when I say, we don't know when any of us walks out the door if we're going to come back. So when I say to you every single night, when I say to you, be good to you, but be good to those around you, I mean it. I mean it. And I mean it when I say we are all in this together. I mean every single word of it, because we are. And, I'm prayerful that we're going forward. At some point will be easier on one another, because we can be a little rough on each other. We can be a little rough on each other, Dr. Nixon.
Yeah, but again, that's a perfect example, is that we take it out on each other and we don't even recognize where it's coming from, right? When I'm working with families, couples, individuals, is that there's this stuff that's happening underneath and I am projecting it onto the person who's closest to me. And I don't even recognize until I highlight, like, hey, this is what's happening. So it's perfect when you said, I'm frustrated. I am scared as a woman, as a mother, as a sister, as an aunt. And it made me think about when I worked in the community and I was doing family work, and I had this mother, and I knew she lived in North Philly, and it was summertime, and she was screaming and yelling at her son. Her son maybe was like 10, 11, and she was screaming and yelling at him. "You're not doing nothing this summer. You're not going outside." Because she was upset because he had been going outside, staying out later. And what I knew was her fear, right? What that little boy didn't know, because he just had tears streaming down, right? What he didn't understand was his mom's fears and hurt.
Right.
All he felt was the aggression, the upsetness, the screams. And so he went upstairs. And I'm a therapist who's very much myself, so I'm jokey. I said, "Girl, do I need to go upstairs too? Because I feel like I'm in trouble. I feel like I need to be put on punishment, right?"
Right.
And I said, "I get it. I know what's happening." She said, "Yeah." She said, "Kevana," she said, She said, no matter when he walks outside the store, he could get shot, he could get hurt. Like, and she said, "I just don't want him to." And I said, "I know that. Guess what? When you tell him like that, he doesn't know that. And guess what he does?
Know that.
He runs right out there." So that was one that came to my head. That was a perfect example of what's happening underneath. My intention is not matching what my real intent is, and it gets missed, and it happens in relationships. Yeah.
All the time. Dr. Nixon, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, as always, for your
Thank
input
you.
and for helping us and for guiding us through these conversations. I can't wait to have our next conversation. I don't know what that'll be, but
I'm
I
here
can't wait
for
to
it,
have
Kara.
our
I love
next
it.
conversation. Thank
I
you.
love it. I love it.
We will see you next time. How about that? We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Yeah, and happy birthday. Enjoy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Bye.
Family. Oh my goodness. Family. Here we are. Praise God. Just praise God from whom all blessings flow. You know I want to say it. You know I want to say it because I want you to know it. I love you. I'm going to do this quickly because I'm going to get cut off. I love you, but God loves you so much more. You put that in your pocket. You hear me? Thank you to everybody, to our guests, to you, to those of our callers, those of you who commented. Family, you know we're all in this together. So be good to you, but be good to those around you. Please be good to those around you as well. Family, have a great night. Have a great rest of your night. Thank you for the birthday love. Okay. And join me Monday through Thursday, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern Time for another edition of Love and Life right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. I love you. Have a good night.